Hi, welcome to the Yarn Joy podcast, episode number 14. Thanks for all of my subscribers that have come back to my channel to see how I did this week and the progress I've made on my projects. And welcome to new subscribers. My channel is growing and I really appreciate that. I appreciate all the great comments and things I've gotten on my videos. So let's get started. I have some finished objects. I have some works in progress, and then just some closing comments about upcoming projects that I'm thinking about doing. Okay, so for my finished objects, I just have 3 this week. For the very first thing that I finished was my Moroccan window square blanket. I'm so happy to be finished with this. I enjoyed making it, but it's always fun to get things finished and moving on to something else. Okay, so I ended up doing it 5 squares by 4 squares. If I can hold it up. I really like the way I did it, I think. I think it turned out well. I really like the bright colors. And I'm hoping that it will bring cheer to someone. I'll end up probably donating this to the Project Linus, possibly project, or there's some other charities I donate to as well, so but I'm sure it'll go to a good home. Okay, so I did that, and that was a real good scrap buster project, I believe. Every row, well, there's only one single row of color, and you switch color each time with a white row between the rows, and so that helped me in getting rid of some scrap yarn that I had. So I'm glad about that. Of course, I still have more scrap yarn, so I'll be doing some more scrap blanket projects and other scrap projects in the future as well. Okay, so my next finished object is a little amigurumi that I did, and I think it turned out super cute. And it is a s'more. Just did it with scrap yarn. I think it's so cute. The pattern is from the pattern is from Spin a Yarn Crochet, but there's a link to it from Ravelry, and it actually was a s'more bunny, and so it had these 2 little bunny ears that came up from the top, and that was cute as well, but I thought I'd just leave it as a s'more. Thought that was so cute. And I think what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to attach a chain at the top and make it like a keychain with a little clasp, and possibly a keychain, or I mean, it's a pretty good size, so I think what it would really be cute as is like for a child to clip like onto a backpack, onto the zipper with the little, I'll use a lobster claw clasp on it, and I think that's going to be super cute. And this, I'm sure, will be going to my great niece. I asked my niece if she knew what a s'more was, if my great niece knew what a s'more was, and my niece said, "Oh yes, I do." So, hello Vicky, and this is going to be for Victoria, so don't show her the video. Okay, so the next item is, I told you last week that I wanted to not work on the Princess Amigurumis. If you can see them, they're all hanging out back there. Yeah. On my sewing machine and then up top there. And I held off working on the next one for a week because I wanted to go ahead and get this pumpkin done. It's a pumpkin centerpiece, and the pattern is by Heidi Yates. And here it is. I think it turned out pretty cute. It's very bulky because what I did is I used 4 strands of the orange yarn held together with a big size N hook, crochet hook, and so it was pretty stiff working it, and so I had to rest my hands after a while because it was kind of a workout. I think it turned out pretty well. Hers turned out cuter, I think, but I think it's the fact that I was using so many strands of yarn, I guess, and so it kind of made it a lot bulkier. It's actually got the way hers is she had hers all spread out like this, all the sections, but it seemed like if I do that, that it kind of makes the fins, or whatever you want to call it, kind of swirl to the side, and so it seemed like it set better if I put 2 together like that and only have the 6 sticking out. And so I may go back and kind of tack those together so they'll be doubled together like that, and I think maybe that might get it to sit a lot better. But I think it turned out cute, and I was able to use quite a bit of my huge stash of orange yarn that I have right now, so I was happy about that. So let's see. So that's all my finished objects for this week. I really wanted to get the Moroccan blanket finished, so I worked quite a bit on that to get it finished. And these other projects didn't take me as long, but that blanket, though, I really worked quite a bit on to get it finished. So there you go. Okay, so my works in progress. I still had the Groovy Gan mini baby blanket. It was a CAL, C-A-L, which stands for Crochet Along, that I followed from the AmericanCrochet.com website. And I finished it, and it turned out really small because of the hook I used. I should have used a larger hook because I used larger yarn, and so it made it kind of a little on the stiff side. But like I said last episode, that was not her fault. Her pattern is great. It was just that I just should have used a larger hook. But I started making the squares, and after I discovered that, I didn't want to rip them out and redo the squares, so I just went with it. So anyway, it turned out kind of small. So what I'm doing, here it is, got it all together. And in her pattern, this row right here, the bright pink scalloped part, that was where it was supposed to end. And so what I did is I started adding to it because I would like to make it just a little bit larger. And so I put this blue here, and I tried to add stitches to straighten out this the scallop part, I guess you'd say, the dips. And so these are I used triple crochets, triple crochets, which is the American terms. And then at the very top, I think I did triple, and then I did a double, and then I did a single, I believe a single, the tip. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to get that level straightened out. And then at the bottom in the very dip, I used 2 triples that I tripled together, I guess. So anyway, I've got that one, and then I started this next round with the green. And so with this one, because it was still, as you can see, even with the blue, it's still a little bit wavy. And so the next one, I used this green, that's what I'm working on now, and I did a double crochet here. And then when it got down to that dip, I did some triples down there in the middle of the dip there to try to get it where it's going to be a straighter edge, and I think that'll be sufficient once I get around that one. And then I don't know if I'll go around maybe another round of double crochets. I really want to use some more of this peach, the peach color that's in there, because it's not used a whole lot, and I want to use it to bring it out from the squares where I have the peach. And so I may do that, or maybe start my border. And last week I had said that I was going to use a border from a border book that I have, but I decided that since it was so busy, the squares, that I wanted to kind of a simple border, but also had some texture to it as well, because the squares, if you see, each square is the very last round of the square is what do they call it? Oh, back post double crochets, and so it kind of makes it stand up, kind of ridges there, and so with some texture. Plus there's kind of a bobble stitch right in the corner of each of the squares, and so I don't know where I found it, but I found a pattern. Actually, there's actually a YouTube video for it. If I can don't know if I can show it here, but it's by Tamara Kelly, and it's called the Polka Dot, let me see, Polka Dot Border Edging. I'll put a link so you can see, but as you can see, it's got these bobbles that go around, and I think I'm gonna do that edging, and she has a tutorial on YouTube on how to do it, and she has the right and left hand versions of it, which is awesome because I'm left-handed, so I'll enjoy watching that. I really don't have trouble watching right-handed tutorials. I'm so used to it, I guess, reversing it in my head, but it's always nice to find some that are left-handed for a change. So anyway, working on that. Probably, I should be finished with that this next week. And then, let's see. Oh, I'm still working on the preemie hats, like I was showing you the past several episodes where I'm doing preemie hats for a Halloween hat drive, I guess you'd say, for a local hospital here for the preemies in the NICU in their hospital. And so I've done several over the last several episodes. You can see them all sitting back here, I believe. Back there, I can see the frog one back there. Anyway, so this one, I just started, and I wanted to do a few sets, like for twins. And so this one is, let me bring it up here so I can show you the finished object. What it's supposed to look like. Yes, it is a pattern by Repeat Crafter Me, and the link is on Ravelry, and it is these two little puppy dogs. One has got pink edging and one has got blue edging. I thought that was super cute. Her pattern has ear flaps, if you can see, but she's also the one I did the owl hat back a couple of episodes, and it also had the ear flaps, but I just left the ear flaps off, and that's what I'm doing for this. I'm just making a beanie, and this one will be the blue for the little boy, and it just has the blue edging around the bottom. And then when you make the ears, I have one of the ears done here, and it's got a blue inset that you put, you stitch on the back inside of the little brown ear. Okay, and oh, and then you have, oh, actually, I'm sorry, this is the eye patch. See, it's round. So this is the eye patch on one eye. Here's the ear. You have the insert, and you have the brown piece. It's all fiddly here, there. So anyway, I need to do another one of the brown ears, and then the noses, which would be like in a dark brown, looks like. And if you notice on the girl, the patch for the girl, it's a heart, a little pink heart instead of the circle for the patch, for the eye patch. So I think those are going to be super cute. So I'll be finished with those soon. I'll be able to show them to you next week, I'm sure. Okay, so working on that. And, oh yes, my fall wreath that I showed you last episode, and it was also by Sarah Zimmerman, who is Repeat Crafter Me, and I haven't done anything on it this week, I have to admit, because I was working on getting the blanket done, so I wanted to get that done, and I got the pumpkin done, so I haven't done anything. I've just got this, and I've got one pumpkin to go with it, and so I'm gonna start working on that again. I need to make some I think two more pumpkins, and then I need to make some leaves to stitch on there. So I'll be working on that to finish that up. Oh, and the bow, I'm gonna do possibly a green bow that goes to the top and includes the hanger. So working on getting that finished as well. And let's see, that's all my works in progress really that I've worked on this week. As far as upcoming projects, I'm still going to be making preemie hats. I still have loads of them in my Ravelry queue, or no, my Ravelry library. If you want to check my Ravelry library out, my name on Ravelry is TJS140. And so my Ravelry page is very incomplete. I don't use it for anything except for searching for patterns, and then the ones I want to bookmark, I just click the little add to library button over there, and so my library has got several pages full of things that you can see, things that I want to work on or I've made. And that's it. I don't really use it for anything else besides searching patterns. You know, I have a couple of projects I believe that on my project page on there that I had downloaded a year or two ago probably, and I'm just not that techie to keep up with all that. You know, I take pictures of it and have it that way, you know, and but that's it really. I don't really update my Ravelry that much, but you can go over there and add me as a friend, and I'll add you back, and we'll look at each other's libraries and see which pattern ideas we can get by looking at what other people have found. That's what I really enjoy doing. Okay, so what else? Oh, and now that I finished the Moroccan window square blanket, which was kind of a scrap project that I put together. I just found the square on Ravelry, and I saw it had different colors with the main single color, which was the white, and I thought it would be a great scrap buster project, and so I just picked that out and started making squares. And so now that I'm finished with it, and I'm almost finished with the little baby Groovy Ann blanket, I'll be starting a new one because I have plenty of scraps to work with, so I'm going to be doing that. And let's see, I haven't picked one out. Well, I started looking at different ones, and I have a few ideas, but there's so many. It's like, oh, I want to do this one, I want to do this one, I want to do this one, you know, so we'll see which ones I get started. And then my Princess Amigurumi set, I do want to start working on another one of those. I believe maybe I might, I don't know, they're so cute, I don't know. I think I might do the Princess Aurora next, possibly, which is from Sleeping Beauty. But we'll see. There's Tiana from the Frog Prince is super cute, and of course you got the girls from Frozen, and Pocahontas. Now the Pocahontas and the Jasmine, they have legs instead of just the skirt, and so those patterns will be a little bit different, so we'll see how those go. But anyway, so I'm going to be starting a new one of those, I'm sure, for this week coming up. And I'm still working on thinking about gifts for different of my family members' projects that I want to start getting together, you know, some, I don't know, some hats or different things. So I need to start really thinking about that more. And let's see, what else? We've had a busy week this week, school, and then music lessons, and just everything. I thank you so much for those that had sent good wishes and thoughts and prayers for Texas as a whole because of Hurricane Harvey that came through. It looked like it was like headed right toward us, and then it turned up north and it went toward Houston, and Houston is still having trouble with the flooding and all the terrible, you know, things that have occurred because of the hurricane. And of course, where the hurricane came to land at what they call ground zero was Rockport, Texas. And we have fond memories of that little town because I grew up vacationing in that little town as a child. I mean, that's where my father, he was a big fisherman at the time, and so we always went there during the summers, and just to see the devastation, it just breaks my heart, you know. But I know that they will rebuild and everything will work out. My niece actually I have a niece that lives there and has a little house that she had bought, hasn't even lived there for a year, and miraculously her house had very little damage, so we were real happy about that for her. Of course, right now there's no power or anything down there, so she's not there. She's here in town with us, well, not with us, but with her sister, and she's going to be able to work from here for a while, you know, until she get things straightened out and get back home again. So we're thankful for the blessings, you know, that the people that had property that wasn't damaged, but we definitely want to help out, and we pray and think about the ones that did have damage, and trust that everything will work out, and for them, you know, and so anyway, that was an exciting, I mean, for us it wasn't exciting, you know, we didn't hardly get any rain, about an inch, that's it, so, but, you know, it's been exciting for the state as a whole, and it continues to be that way. Anyway, one thing I do want to say is, last Sunday at church, a young couple that had a baby recently that I had made a blanket for. In fact, I made the blanket the puzzle square granny square blanket, puzzle granny square. The little, a few episodes back, it was blue and yellow and green and white, I believe, for a little boy. Anyway, so I gave them that, and with a little hat to go with it. And this past Sunday at church, I saw them, and they were using the blanket and had the little baby wrapped up in that blanket. So it warmed my heart to see, you know, I just love to see when people have babies and I give them things, and you see them in the things that you bought. I mean, not bought, made for them. And so that's always fun, and just makes me feel good that I made something that they liked, and they're using it for their baby. He didn't have the hat on that I made, but the hat I actually made a little bigger because, you know, for colder weather, you know, I figured, well, in 3 months it'd be closer to Christmas and a little cooler weather, and so I made it a little bit larger because babies, they grow so quickly, seems like just in the first few months, you know, with their sizing. And so I'm hoping that he'll be able to wear that little hat upcoming, you know, in a few months. Okay, so that's about all I have for today. I hope everybody is well and having lots of crafting fun, those that are crocheters or knitters or whatever, yarn people. And please subscribe to my channel if you like my video, and come back next week, check out my progress on my projects, and see what other things I find to make and show to you. So that's it. So thanks, and y'all have a good week, and we'll see you next week. Bye.